that wraps up dream customer, and hopefully it helped clarify quite a bit. I will tell you that the dream customer piece, every time I update it, the dream customer, I have to do the rest of the steps also. Anytime you have any new epiphany, oh, this is who I'm really going for, I follow the remaining 12 steps behind it and do it all again, because it's based off of that person. And so anytime it changes, it's not off of me, right? I don't sell myself. I'm not my dream customer. So I shouldn't ask what my own opinion is, right? That's the problem with the dream customer selection piece. We're like, well, just solve your own problems. Like, that's happened and worked a few times, but we don't fill our own wallets, so we shouldn't ask our own opinions. All right, so now we have a person in mind to ask, do you like this? Do you not like this? What are your problems? And that really speeds the process up a lot. Cool. Rich market. Let's do it. You guys good? This is usually where I fight the lunch carbs. You guys gonna say no to lunch carbs? All right, cool. Yeah, I totally get we're all ADD entrepreneurs and marketers, though. If you want to stand up, and you're totally welcome to do that, roam a little if you want. Cool. Awesome. So we're gonna go into choosing the marketplace. So while we get clarity on who we want to sell, where are they? And that's what this section answers. Okay. I love this story. I always bring up this as the door-to-door example. My second summer ever selling was very painful for me because I came back from 5 months of rejection, right? And I was one of the top guys for the first half. I told you guys about that. But at the end of the summer, like this huge crescendo moment was supposed to happen. And the company I was working for was building it up for the whole previous year. There's going to be the final check, right? You're going to get the check in the mail. It's going to be awesome. It'll be the bee's knees, the cat's meow. It's going to pay for the next 2 semesters of school. It's like, sweet. Well, I sold pretty well. I went back and I basically camped by the mailbox waiting for this check. The semester had just started with school, and the check shows up. And I open up the check, and there was $1,100 in there for 5 months of work. I was like, this has got to be a mistake. So I called my guy, right? Basically the guy that recruited me, right? Door-to-door is not much different than network marketing. Same structures. You recruit a team, you get part of the override. So I did that, including the override. $1,100. And I called my guy and I said, hey, this is like, there's another check coming, right? This is like a reimbursement for something. Like, when's the real one coming? And he was like, that's your check. I was like, no, it's not. He's like, yes, it is. I said, why? And he's like, I kept telling you to stop selling in poor neighborhoods. I told you the whole summer. Everyone else in the entire company didn't do that, and you were the only one. This is a subscription-based service you're selling, Steve. What do you think happened when the first rebill came around and you were selling in poor neighborhoods? Cancellations like crazy. I lost like half my accounts in the first rebill. I had sold volume in terms of a lot of accounts, and that's why they were like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? I never learned how to sell in rich neighborhoods. Totally different customer, totally different mentality. I didn't lose everybody, right? But that lesson changed the way I market. You cannot sell to poor markets. Okay, don't. Anyway, I sold well, blah, blah, blah. I just said the same thing there. Cool. So I spent the entire neighborhood in these poor neighborhoods, and I want to cross that out just because a lot of times people, anyway, I want you to know a market is a place, not a person. That's a big mistake in brand new people. When they say who is your target market, there's no such thing. It's where is your target market and who is the person going there. Separate those out. Markets are places, not people. Okay? And so what I need you to save yourself from doing is finding your dream customer in a poor neighborhood. Because I'm way more likely to find rich people in a rich neighborhood than I am to find rich people in a poor neighborhood. Now, are there rich people in poor neighborhoods? Of course. Absolutely, but it's less likely. And so what we do is we hunt where they go. We fish in the places where they're likely to be. And this will save your marketing efforts. This will keep you from spending ads all over the place and trying to get, this will help you like crazy. Only sell to rich neighborhoods, and so rich markets. So as a door-to-door sales guy, right, I just want you to know, and I learned this lesson. It's very painful for me. You need facial hair. And the market selection matters, though. Market selection matters. It matters a ton. Good opportunities and good products die in poor markets. If you guys got a great network marketing product, if you got a great opportunity, best place to kill it is in a poor market. And then the entrepreneur goes back and what do they say? Something's wrong with my offer. No, you just went to a place where they probably couldn't afford it. I'm saying rich and poor just honestly, right? I'm not trying to, anyway, hopefully it's not weird for me to say that, but it's true though, right? So we need to find rich neighborhoods for your dream customer and meet them there. That's what we're trying to do on the internet, okay? Choosing the right market attracts the dream customer for you. How do you find the person that we went through in the last session? You find out where they hang out, right? And that's it. Find out where they hang out and you go to the same thing. So good offers, messages, campaigns, funnels, they all die inside of poor markets. And then we think it's the offer or the funnels don't work and it's a scam. It's like, no, you really didn't know how to market. This is what I call marketing. This is marketing. It is finding where your person is and learning how to create noise in front of them. Okay. So a market, just to define it, is a place where buyers and sellers go to exchange very similar products, right? So I want you to just grab this conceptually. Businesses are not markets. Okay, a business is never a market. So there's no such thing as a ClickFunnels market, but there is a funnel market, right? And there's all these companies in it. ClickFunnels is one of them. They're the category king, but just think of it in that sense. There's a lot of network marketing companies that sell similar things, and so there is a market for that. It's a collection of businesses that sell similar stuff. Anyway, this is one of my favorite ways to think about market selection. Ask yourself, if the internet wasn't here, how would you find your dream customer? Right? How would you find them? And think about how cool the internet is. It's like the internet gave global access. And there's a huge percentage of the world not even on the internet still. And so it's like, companies never had to answer this question when there was just straight brick and mortars, right? If I had a local brick and mortar hair salon, let's say, like I would go, right? But let's say, where's my market? Literally the geographic area right there around it. But since the internet, it's like you have access to everything. That's not a lock anymore. That's not a gate anymore. So this question has become more important as the internet's become more available. Where's my market? One of the first companies I ever did, actually is that first water company. I said, hey, who's your dream customer? They're like, here's your dream customer criteria. I said, cool. Who's your target market? So where's your target market? Tell me more about your dream buyer. And they're like, well, Steve, everyone needs water. And everyone needs a little extra commission that we give them when they sell. So everyone is our dream customer. And I was like, that is the opposite of marketing. That's the actual opposite definition of marketing, right? That's not marketing at all. So if you feel like you're in this really broad thing, all right, those aren't the criteria to filter down by. Cool. Cool story, Steve, but how do I find my market? Right? How do I choose it? I want you to know that market timing matters. When someone says, if you guys ever heard this phrase, you're going to get in a niche opportunity, ground floor level, something that's awesome, that is some scary crap. No, do not want that, right? That is so scary because it's not proven. It's not proven, right? Market timing matters. That's the difference between the rock and that rock, right? Right? You can get in too early. You can be too blue. I don't want something that hasn't been around for a while. I don't want a marketplace that has not stood the test of time. Brand new niche opportunity sounds like you want to gamble. I don't choose markets that are hot and brand new. I choose markets that are old, really big, been there forever. That way I choose one market and don't have to do it again, ever, right? It creates the feeder for me. The company comes on it. Like that's a really, really big hack to understand this. Because in college and in general marketing, I was taught, okay, you want a niche opportunity with a niche thing, like niche. That's scary, man. You don't want that. That's the exact opposite of what you want. That is gambling. And so we create security by choosing markets that are massive and old. Okay, massive and old. They've been around for a while because markets do die. And I don't want to hitch my entire wagon on something that's about to die in a short amount of time. Anyone want to go into business with these with me? Pogs? Anyone? Pogs? Yeah? Pet rock? Can't believe that was a thing. Yeah? Disposable cameras. Why is this laughable?
They still sell those.
Yeah. Category kings do. Right? But they're gone. Things of the past. Right? I don't want to create a network marketing thing or whatever in something that could die soon. And so I am acting as my own info product business now. All right, so I'm going to go and I'm going to try and get people to buy my info product business, my info product from very specific locations. So it's crazy just because it's been around, it's been gone for a long time. These products are in the markets that are fad markets. And they at one point were hot and brand new. I don't want a fad market. I want an old market that has stood the test of time. I really wish someone said that to me a long time ago. Because, man, I really think that I wouldn't have gone through 34 tries. It's like, that piece right there is so huge. Choose a dinosaur and learn how to sell in it. Do you guys ever see the Snow White teeth whitening things? Called Snow. Have you seen those? I got to talk with the CEO for these. He's about my age. This thing's made $1 billion. If I had $1 billion, I don't know if that'd be healthy for me. Anyway, so I was chatting with him and I was like, what's your trick, man? How'd you do this? And he said something I've been saying for a bit. He's the only other person I've ever met say this as well. He said, I don't want red ocean, blue ocean. That means I got to build an ocean. I said, I know, right? He said, I want blue offer, red ocean. I want to learn to become unique and something that's been around for a long time. I actually do not subscribe to the red ocean, blue ocean thing. I'll tell you right now. I don't know that Russell does and several other people do, and that's great. That means you got to build a mall. You understand? I don't just the ball gets further from the hole when I try to make a whole market. Oh my gosh, are you serious? What if instead I just went to the markets that have been around for a long time and learned how to sell them something that was unique, and they're already in the habit of going there. If markets are places, like, I go here every week. Way easier. Cool. All right, now that you know what your dream customer is, the point is to follow them into marketplaces. You guys with me so far? Are we good? This is some heady stuff, but if you get this piece, you'll be better marketers than most of them on the planet. Okay. By separating out that it's a place, not a person. Okay, so I want you to think about this. You have so far right now said, I'm going to focus on my network marketing product or my recruiting, all right? And what I want you to do is think about the dream person that you have now said that you want to sell. This is how easy this game starts to get. Once you said that, please silence all cell phones and throw them against the wall. Once you have said, this is who I want to sell to, just look over their shoulder. You don't get to choose the market. This is why this starts to get really easy. When you learn to listen, all you do is you say, this is my dream customer. Where are you going to try and solve your problems right now? Oh, that market, you're going there, there, and there. Sweet. So I just have to choose one of those? Instead of you saying, I need to pontificate this amazing, I gotta be a creative genius to come up with this stuff. That's hard. I'm not gonna do that. And so I get to go and skip that whole thing by saying, what is it that you are going, where are you walking to exchange, to take your money and go buy stuff? Oh, you're going there, there, and there? Sweet, so I just gotta choose one. It's way easier than trying to come up with a market on your own. So you just get to choose one. Does that help? Does that make sense? Okay, let me keep going. Let me explain, literally. All right, so let me think about this. I also wrote more about this in Expert Secrets, if you want even deeper on it. But I want you to imagine that you wake up in the morning, right, and you sell fish, right? Let's say that you live in a little village and you sell fish, and your entire family is depending on the fact that you sell that fish that day to eat. I mean, I guess you could eat the fish, which is what Russell said, and he blew holes in it. I was like, I didn't think about that. Well, just let's say you can't eat the fish for some reason. So you got to make money that day. Where would you go to sell them? Fish market, right? Why? People are already going there with the anticipation to purchase. But sometimes we'll go, well, I need a blue market. Red ocean, blue ocean, Steve. And so they're like, I'm going to walk to the other side of the island where nobody is because I have a unique offer. And then they're like, how come no one's buying from me? No one's there. Right? Does that make sense? So it's way easier to go after these places that are big and old and been there forever and just learn to be unique rather than change habits. Habits are the most expensive things to change in human beings. Millions of dollars to educate the market enough. That's part of that. Education so they want it. So just think about that, all right? You sell fish, where do you go to sell them? Choose a marketplace. So that's what I mean by location. Now that you know who you're going for, where are the locations they're going toward? Because you got to meet them there. It's kind of like when I'll put my 3 little girls in my truck and we'll go to the farmer's market. And that's the point, because I'm not the market. I am a person going to a place. And the businesses have said, yeah, we go to that place too at that time. We'll go to the farmer's market because neither of us are markets. But the places, does that make sense? Is that starting to help a little bit more? Cool, okay. Glad I put that there. Very good. Okay. So again, we say, who's the target market? That's not the question. It's where is your target market? So you'll hear me refer to it as a marketplace, not just a market, just as a key reminder that it's a spot, not a person. Anyway. Oh, cool. Awesome. Okay. So, and again, a market is a location, not a person. And your dream customer is the one that reveals them to you. You don't even have to choose that. You just say, which ones are you already going to go? You spend money here, here, and here, and here? Sweet. So what I want to show you how to do is how to filter markets to choose one. Don't choose a lot of markets. Just choose a single spot. Okay. Okay. So again, if it's about where, what I want to do is give you a few criteria on how to choose a market. Yeah? This is one of my favorite sections, man. This will put you ahead of a lot of people to think of marketing like this. Yeah, woo, absolutely. All right, so first off, your market has to be big and getting bigger. Not new, niche, ground floor opportunity. Ugh, scary. You know what I mean? Not to throw rocks at it, but to throw rocks at it. Anyway, so it's got to be big and getting bigger. Let me give you an example by this. I brought Robert Kiyosaki up a few times now. I'm a huge fan of his. My dad and I paid $30,000 for his stock and options trading course. And it's about 10 years ago now. And so we started going. And my dad's actually a world-renowned coder. And so he has taken it super far since then. A few years went by, and we were doing stocks and options trading, paper trading, stuff like that. So he started coding his own signals and all this stuff. It's brilliant. And I was like, Dad, how's it going? It'd been like a couple of years by then. I was like, well, we were trained in the New York Stock Exchange. How's it going? He's like, I don't trade the New York Stock Exchange anymore. I said, really? What do you trade now? He goes, I trade Forex. I was like, okay, so Forex is global versus just America, right? And I was like, well, why do you do that? And he goes, well, it's because the New York Stock Exchange trades at about $169 billion a day. I said, yeah, doesn't sound too bad. Like, whoa, right? He goes, you don't understand, kiddo. Forex is $5 trillion a day. And then he followed up with this phrase. He said, I don't need to be as good to take home more. He said, the pie is so much bigger. I don't need to be as talented to take home more money. When a market is small, you got to be good. That's why this matters. You choose a marketplace that is rich and getting richer, massively rich, because you don't need to be as good to take home a ton of money. I love that one. That one's gonna be chills sometimes. I'm a nerd, man. So yeah, what a principle, Anyway, okay. So that's big though to understand, because it means that you get to skip marketplaces that are new and haven't proven themselves yet. They might die in a few years from now. I don't want to build my whole structure on top of that. Let me choose something that's been around a long time, very filthy, ridiculously rich, and then learn how to make a blue offer in a red ocean. It's faster. It's faster millions. I'm not saying that you can't do the red ocean, blue ocean thing. That's meant for a specific type of entrepreneur, though, which we'll talk about. So you can skip all that. This is also another big piece, and this is the reason why I get really picky on the marketplace. I skied a ton growing up, like a ton. We started skiing so young because my dad was trying to be an Olympic skier. He's gonna do slaloms, or moguls, I mean. And so we backpacked a lot. We did a lot of stuff. And when I grew up in Denver, any skiers or snowboarders? Okay, cool. All right, a couple. We gotta go. That was not enough hands. Okay. This really interesting thing would happen because we lived there in Littleton in Denver so long that we'd be driving up, and we'd see Vail on the side, all these world-renowned resorts. I didn't know that when I was growing up, and so we were driving up, and there would always be the famous ski resorts, like Keystone, Breckenridge, Vail. You've heard some of those names probably, right? But then it's not like, there's more mountains than that though. You know what I mean? There's 14,000 foot mountains in Colorado. There's a lot of really big mountains. So there would be a brand new resort that would pop up. And it was like the same cycle. You drive up and it was like brand new opening. Oh my gosh, so cool. Right? And then what do you think happens over time to a lot of them? It's not as cool. And then after a while, it's always creepy. There's tons of ghost ski resorts, like ghost towns. Tons of them. Why? It's in the same mountain range as all the other world famous ones. Why? Fascinating to think, right? Why would that die when it's next to the most famous resort like in the world? Or one of them, Vail, right? Multi-mountains across. And this part of this, literally it's the next peak. Why did it die? It's because it did not learn how to create customers. It only learned how to collect them. This is key. I do not want ever to be in a marketplace that has not learned how to create their own customers. If we are only collecting customers, the problem is the blood runs out. You run out of leads. Okay, you guys with me? Let me keep going on this. Okay, I want to make sure that the marketplace that I've chosen has stood the test of time, because if they've not learned how to create more leads and sales, it will eventually die. Just like a normal business. The market, take down all the companies with it. So why is it funny to bring up Beanie Babies and Pogs, right, and disposable cameras, right? Some of that stuff is still viable, right? You still buy Beanie Babies, stuff like that, but why is it like a down, how come it goes down so fast? It's because they collected a lot of customers, but eventually they stopped creating them. The reason I like network marketing so much, oh, that's cool.
It keeps going.
Does it?
Yeah. It'll be there and all of a sudden it'll bounce again.
It's an actual gremlin in the scene. But what I want to do though is I want to make sure that if I'm looking over the shoulder of my dream customer, I'm like, oh, you're going there. I'm not going to go to that market because I don't know that it knows how to create new leads for itself as a market, which means I can't collect. I'm going to have to learn how to create. Does this make sense? If the marketplace that I am choosing has learned how to create new blood, it means I don't have to, because it's my market. It goes out and finds them for me. Think about what ClickFunnels has. They got 400 employees. I think 150 million per year is low for them. Okay, like holy smokes. I don't have that kind of firepower. I don't have 400 employees. I have 4, and I'm one of them. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of firepower. So, but how can I hack this? If I'm seeing Russell go out and ClickFunnels, they're doing all this activity and all this stuff, and they're bringing new people in, and they've learned how to do that. And he's also the person I send people back to if they don't know funnels. They're literally just creating my future customer for me. Yeah, that's the hack. So, you guys with me on that? My marketplace creates my dream customer for me. They find, hunt, and sell, and educate. And then when they get frustrated, I just sit back and wait. Oh, you just got ClickFunnels, sweet. See you in like 2 months. Because they're big enough now, Funnel Land has learned how to create new blood. They learned how to sell people into it. Classic example with network marketing. How many people do you think are sold into network marketing that really weren't planning on being in network marketing? So you're saying that marketplace knows how to create new sales from people who are not planning on being it? Sounds like a nice big dinosaur for me to put my entire business into. Because it has a mechanism to get people who are not planning on being buyers. That's awesome. That's huge security. It is why I left my job, my killer amazing job, and went straight to network marketing marketplace. Straight to it. I had several people ask, why would you do that? It's a dinosaur. It's going to be around forever. It's awesome. What a cool place to build. Right? Does that help now? If they haven't figured that out. So why do I call Funnel Land? Why do I call Funnel Land a market? Think about this. What is the thing that gets people to get funnels who weren't planning on getting funnels? You guys have probably been through it. One Funnel Away. When I saw them do One Funnel Away, which I was a part of, when we did One Funnel Away and I saw how many new people came in, I was like, this is the thing that's going to keep this a marketplace. And guess what all these other knockoffs are doing now? Same thing. Cool. So one day, a new network marketing company came along. I don't know if you ever studied the history of network marketing. It's pretty interesting. No one really knows where it officially came from. They believe it's from Amway. And so, but even before them, right before them, like there was a few others. And what happened was there's a group of salespeople who were like, hey, we should just start selling our friends and family because they're probably going to buy our product from us faster than us going out and cold calling. So that's kind of how, that's the speculation on how it really came about. Okay, so then Amway comes across and they see that model and they're like, let's build a whole business model around that. Well, if it's working for that one company, what do you think the next company did? Funnel hacking, baby. Next thing. Suddenly, a market is born. There's an acquisition model, which means it can exist for the long term. Is you guys with me on this now, though? Okay, I want to make sure that the marketplace I choose has learned how to create customers so I don't have to. Because it'll do all that for me now. ClickFunnels will go out and say, yes, I'm down. I'm going to go get all these brand new people for you, Steve. I'm like, sweet, we'll see you in 2 months, right? And because every company creates frustrated. Every marketplace creates frustrated. So I just sit back and wait. This is why I have such fast leads. It's one of the major reasons, is because here's my dream customer. Where do they go? Look at all these markets. You know what? I'm going to go after this one because it has been around so long. I can name the mechanism that gets fresh blood into that market. 3-way phone calls, home parties. I am so grateful for them. They're giving me all my leads. Basically what's happening. You see how it hacks the game? And you're just lining up the moon so it's really fast. Bam, 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 bam. Does this help? I'm gonna do a little midway. Actually, let me go to the next piece here. I think we're close to the end right here. Okay, my market must be old enough to have figured out its own lead sources. Because if it doesn't know, I have to. That's now the buck is passed to me. That's why I don't go for brand new markets. It's like, it's so much more gambling. Cool. The next thing I look for is I need to make sure that it's big enough that there are influencers. Okay, I really want this. Who are some of the big influencers inside network marketing? Eric Worre. One of the first names always comes up, absolutely. Ray Higdon, for sure. Fraser Books, very cool, yeah. Steve Larson, yeah. Who's that guy? Sounds like a weirdo. Robert Kiyosaki, 100%, right? Because I can name them quick, that also gives me security. Because it means that there are B-level influencers. Not as big as A. And then there's this whole crowd of C. If the market is not big enough that it's got C-level influencers, it greatly reduces the likelihood that I can pull off the Dream 100 stuff. All right? You guys will follow me? I can't find, if there's all these other influencers inside the marketplace, it's big enough for me to go do a JV. It's big enough for me to go do a little, hey, you know what? Let me sell your audience my SLO, and then you can sell my audience your SLO. And you just start doing cross promotions, and that grows lists very quickly. Does that make sense? Okay, people are faster than books. And if I know that there are people in that market that are an influencer, and there's so many of them that they're C-level influencers, that sounds like a really good anchor market, a staple market, something I can chew into for the rest of my business. Helpful? Yeah. Hey, this is big. This is really, really big. What drives C-level influencers nuts? Competition, for sure. What else would drive a C-level influencer just crazy? Especially when they're not B. That they're not bigger. When I was a C-level influencer, I would say in the funnel space, I'm probably B. I'm definitely not Russell, I'm not A. Okay? Because he created the market. You know what I mean? Like, good on you. I don't want to go through that. I helped to do that. I think I had some PTSD. I told him a few weeks ago, I was like, I don't want to go do what you and I had to do to get that thing off the ground. And so I'm going to find being a B for right now, for where, you see what I'm saying? So when I was a C, though, it drove me nuts. There's no metric that I'm using other than my own gut feeling, okay? Oh, they're not quite as big as this person. They're not quite as big as this person. And that's all the criteria that matters because marketing is perceptions. How do you perceive that? So if you think about your marketplace, like look at all the people inside there that are influenced. If I can't Google it and be like, influencers in network marketing, influencers in funnel land, influencers in pharmaceuticals, all right, supplements, protein powders, right? Those are all huge marketplaces that are around forever. And I can't find people on YouTube making consistent content, if I can't find podcasts about it, that is scary. It means I got to make distribution channels. They're not made for me. They made them for me. Thank you. Oh, I have a show, so do you. Come on mine. Let me go on yours. We call that list hacking. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's my grandfather. Anyway. So just to recap, because this is a heady section. You get this, and it's because we have to split the difference between a dream person and a dream place, a market. Please silence all cell phones. So dream customer shows the who. The dream who shows you the markets you get to choose from. Remember looking over their shoulder. Where do you go to buy? Number 2, it has to be big, meaning rich. Think Forex versus New York Stock Exchange. When it's that big, I don't have to be as good to take home more. All right, it's got to be big and rich. It's a place. And then it needs to be big enough that it's found ways to create new blood, new customers. And if it hasn't done that, that means it's going to get passed to me. And if I don't want to deal with it, I probably shouldn't choose it as a market. All right, there needs to be enough influencers and list owners in that marketplace that there are C-level influencers, because it means that I'm probably going to be able to pull off some cool JVs and collaborations. Otherwise, I'm the first list creator, and that's rough. Okay, so